divine feminine. You may feel it already, a strange pressure in the air, a quiet urgency moving through your body and your spirit. Time no longer feels neutral. The final weeks of this year do not feel like a gentle closing, but like a narrowing corridor, as though something unseen is asking you to decide who you truly are. You may feel restless, emotionally heightened, or unable to remain comfortable in old patterns. Familiar coping mechanisms no longer work. Waiting feels impossible, yet acting feels risky. This inner tension is not confusion, it is the sensation of standing at a threshold. You have crossed into the final energetic chamber of 2025, and the universe is no longer offering rehearsal space. It is watching how you move when it matters most. In today's transmission, we will decode what this moment actually means for the divine feminine path. You will understand why this first full week of December carries an unmistakable gravity, why your soul feels observed rather than judged, and why the feeling of being measured is not a threat but a preparation. We will reveal what it means when the cosmos pauses, when timelines tighten and alignment becomes decisive. This is not about fear or prediction. It is about recognizing the energetic corridor you are standing in and learning how to move through it consciously. You will gain clarity on why reunion energy intensifies now, why this period is catalytic, and how your inner choices shape what unfolds next. By the end of this video, you will no longer experience this moment as overwhelming or vague. You will feel oriented, grounded, empowered. Instead of sensing pressure without understanding, you will recognize the sacred mechanics at work behind it. This awareness shifts you from passive anticipation into embodied readiness. You will understand that reunion does not arrive randomly. It responds to alignment. This video is designed to sharpen your perception, steady your nervous system, and help you move through this high-stakes threshold with clarity and sovereignty. If you feel that something irreversible is unfolding in your life right now, this message is not optional, it is timely. Stay with me until the end, because what you understand here may determine how this threshold opens for you. Section 1. The Pressure Chamber of Sovereignty. This week opens a powerful spiritual pressure chamber crafted specifically for the divine feminine, not as a test meant to fracture you, but as a sacred mechanism designed to awaken the sovereign queen that has always lived within you. This energy is intentional, intelligent, and exact. It does not arrive to overwhelm or punish, but to apply just enough pressure to activate remembrance, authority, and inner command. What is unfolding now is not chaos, it is calibration. Many of you are already feeling it deeply, even if you cannot yet name it. There is a restless pull in your chest, a quiet urgency that makes it impossible to remain where you once felt comfortable. Standing still suddenly feels unnatural, almost painful, as if your soul is gently but firmly nudging you forward. Your dreams have intensified, becoming vivid, symbolic, and emotionally charged, carrying messages that linger long after you wake. Old emotions surface without warning, releasing through tears, sighs, or sudden waves of clarity. And beneath it all is a persistent knowing that time has run out for hesitation, for half-choices, for shrinking yourself to keep the peace. This pressure is not random. The universe is no longer rewarding delay, self-doubt, or subtle forms of self-abandonment. Patterns that once allowed you to pause, wait, or defer your power are dissolving. If you have been waiting for your divine masculine to fix the connection, rescue the dynamic, or make the first move so that you could finally feel safe stepping into your truth, this energy will dismantle that illusion swiftly. Not cruelly, but cleanly. What once felt like patience now reveals itself as postponement of self-leadership. Understand this clearly. This is not punishment. It is precision. The universe is not taking anything from you. It is removing what no longer aligns with the woman you are becoming. Delays feel uncomfortable now because your nervous system is recalibrating to sovereignty. Self-doubt feels louder because it is being exposed, not endorsed. Old emotional crutches feel unstable because your soul no longer needs them. The pressure increases only because your capacity has expanded. You are not being pushed beyond your limits. You are being pushed into them. The fully actualized version of your soul is ready to emerge, and she cannot be born through waiting, negotiating, or outsourcing her power. She arrives through choice, through clarity, through embodied authority. This chamber exists to teach you that you are no longer meant to be reactive, accommodating, or dependent on external validation. You are meant to lead your own life energetically, emotionally, and spiritually. As this week unfolds, you may feel moments of discomfort, impatience, or even grief for the versions of yourself that once felt safer. Honor those feelings without attaching to them. They are signs of shedding, not failure. You are not losing control. You are reclaiming it at a higher level. The pressure you feel is the universe responding to your readiness, signaling that the era of waiting has ended and the era of self-command has begun. Stand tall in this moment. Breathe into the pressure rather than resisting it. It is shaping you, strengthening you, and aligning you with the truth you have always carried. The Queen does not wait to be chosen. She remembers who she is, and the universe rearranges itself accordingly. Before we move into the next phase of this message, take a moment to pause and feel what has just surfaced within you. Notice where the pressure is showing up in your body, your emotions, or your thoughts, and ask yourself honestly what you are being invited to release, choose, or finally claim. This is not information meant to pass through you casually. It is an activation meant to be felt and integrated. If something resonated deeply, I invite you to reflect on it and share your experience in the comments so this energy can be witnessed and grounded. And if words feel difficult right now, simply type, "I choose my sovereignty," in the comments as a declaration to yourself and to the universe. Take this breath with intention, because what comes next builds directly upon the choice you make in this moment. Section 2. The sorting of timelines. This first week of December is not interested in who you were during separation. It is not reviewing your past choices, your waiting, your longing, or the versions of yourself that survived heartbreak. This week is decisive. It is measuring only one thing: who you are becoming as reunion approaches. The energy moving through you now is not gentle nostalgia, it is refinement. Fatigue that arrives without explanation, sudden bursts of piercing clarity, an intolerance for old emotional loops, and an almost physical repulsion toward third-party dynamics or subtle self-disrespect are not random fluctuations of mood. They are signals. These sensations are the body and soul responding to a powerful sorting of timelines. You are being rerouted, not backward, not sideways, forward into the sovereign lane. This lane may feel unfamiliar at first, even uncomfortable, because it is not designed for the wounded feminine who waits, hopes, or negotiates her value through endurance. It is not meant for the version of you that tolerated half-truths, emotional crumbs, or conditional love. This path is calibrated for the self-complete goddess, the feminine, who knows herself as whole, who does not bargain for recognition, and who no longer shrinks to preserve connection. As this sorting intensifies, what once felt tolerable now feels unbearable. Patterns you once rationalized now feel energetically loud. Dynamics that required you to abandon yourself are rejected by your nervous system before your mind can explain why. This is not judgment. It is precision. Your system has upgraded, and anything incompatible with your true frequency can no longer remain. You may notice that patience for misalignment has vanished. That does not mean you are becoming harsh or closed. It means your boundaries have aligned with truth. You are no longer available for timelines that delay your becoming. Understand this clearly. Your frequency has already chosen. The decision has been made at the soul level. Your mind is simply catching up, releasing outdated identities and beliefs that cannot accompany you forward. Confusion dissolves as coherence returns. The path narrows not to limit you, but to protect the magnitude of what you are preparing to hold. This week does not ask you to prove anything. It asks you to consent to stop resisting the version of yourself that is emerging. The sorting is already underway, and you are being placed exactly where you belong. Section 3. Dream space as a transmission system. This week, the dream world is no longer a symbolic backdrop drifting quietly behind waking life. It has moved to the forefront. Dream space is now a primary transmission system, a direct line through which information, guidance, and energetic instruction are being delivered with urgency and precision. As December opens, the veil between waking consciousness and astral reality thins dramatically. The boundaries that once separated logic from intuition, sleep from awareness, and matter from spirit begin to dissolve. If your sleep feels fragmented, vivid, emotionally charged, or unusually cinematic, you are not imagining it. This is not restlessness or mental noise. It is heightened reception. Many divine feminines across the world are entering this same frequency simultaneously. They are receiving parallel dream imagery, repeating numbers, familiar animals, sacred geometry, ancestral figures, temples, doorways, oceans, staircases, or archetypal landscapes that feel more real than ordinary dreams. This is not coincidence. It is evidence of a collective dream channel activating, one that bypasses the conscious mind and speaks directly to the soul. Dreams now arrive carrying more than personal symbolism. They function as encoded messages offering instructions, warnings, energetic activations, and quiet confirmations of what is already unfolding beneath the surface. These messages do not speak in linear language or rational explanation. They communicate through feeling, pattern, repetition, and resonance. What matters most is not how the dream looks, but how it feels and what it awakens within you. Pay close attention to what repeats. Repetition is the signal that something is being emphasized for integration. A number that appears again and again, an animal that returns night after night, a setting that feels familiar though you have never seen it before. These are markers placed deliberately, guiding you toward awareness you will soon need. Keep a notebook close. Capture impressions immediately upon waking, before the conscious mind edits or dismisses them. Even fragments matter. Even emotions without images carry meaning. What is arriving in dream space this week is not meant to stay there. It is preparation. It is guidance meant to be applied before the year closes and the next phase begins. Trust this realm. You are not escaping reality when you enter it. You are accessing a higher layer of truth, one that knows what is coming before the mind is ready to accept it. The dream world is active now because time is compressing, and the soul speaks fastest when the ego is quiet. A clear example of this transmission system in action may arrive through an ordinary night that feels anything but ordinary. You fall asleep without intention, yet find yourself standing in a vivid landscape, perhaps walking through a hallway of doors, climbing a staircase, or approaching a body of water that feels both familiar and sacred. In the dream, you may encounter an animal that meets your gaze without fear, or you may be shown a specific number, word, or symbol that lingers long after waking. When you open your eyes, the emotional residue remains calm, urgency, reassurance, or a quiet knowing that something has been confirmed. Later that same day, waking life mirrors the message. A conversation echoes the dream's theme. A sign repeats the symbol you were shown, or a decision you had been avoiding suddenly becomes clear without effort. Nothing dramatic announces itself, yet alignment locks into place. This is how dream transmission works now, not as fantasy, but as advanced instruction. The dream does not predict the future. It prepares your nervous system to recognize it. By the time the moment arrives in physical reality, your soul has already rehearsed the truth, and you move with certainty instead of doubt. Section 4. Sacred Defiance and the Collapse of Old Rules. December arrives carrying a rare and unmistakable frequency, one that stirs sacred defiance deep within your soul. This is not rebellion for the sake of conflict, nor restlessness born of confusion. It is the natural unraveling of outdated soul contracts that were formed in times when survival mattered more than truth. Old agreements, based on conditional love, silent endurance, and inherited rules, begin to dissolve now, not because you failed them, but because you have outgrown them. What once kept you safe has quietly become what keeps you small, and your spirit knows it is time to breathe beyond those limits. You may notice this awakening as a sudden, almost shocking courage rising in places where fear once lived. Or it may show up as an unbearable frustration with the structure of your current life, a sense that the walls around you are closing in rather than protecting you. For some, it emerges as a powerful urge to walk away from situations, relationships, roles, or expectations you once tolerated simply to avoid loss or instability. What is shifting now is not your character, but your tolerance for misalignment. Your soul is no longer willing to negotiate with what diminishes it. This phase can feel destabilizing because it challenges patterns that have governed you for years, sometimes lifetimes. Yet this is not chaos unfolding at random, it is alignment expressing itself through disruption. When truth arrives, it does not always whisper gently. Sometimes it shakes the foundations so that what is false cannot remain standing. The discomfort you feel is not a sign that something is wrong, but evidence that something deeply honest is finally being acknowledged. Sacred defiance is the moment you stop betraying yourself to keep peace with systems that were never designed to honor your fullness. It is the quiet inner rebellion that says you will no longer earn love through silence, patience through suffering, or belonging through self-erasure. This energy does not seek permission. It remembers a deeper law, one written into your being long before the rules you learned to obey. Freedom, in this season, is not something handed to you by circumstance or granted by others. It is remembered at the cellular level. It returns the moment you recognize that you were never meant to live, confined by conditions that deny your truth. December does not ask you to burn everything down. It asks you to stop holding together what was never meant to last. In doing so, you do not lose yourself. You reclaim yourself. Section 5. The Sovereign Reset. Many of you will wake up during this phase and feel an unfamiliar stillness, as if the version of yourself you once knew has quietly dissolved overnight. Your old interests may no longer spark curiosity. Your usual emotional reactions may feel distant or irrelevant. Even the patterns you once identified with so strongly, your attachments, your worries, your emotional obsessions, may suddenly lose their charge. This can feel disorienting at first, as though something essential has gone missing. Yet what is leaving is not your essence, but the layers that once surrounded it. This is not emptiness, and it is not numbness. It is a divine formatting process taking place at the deepest level of the soul. Just as a system cannot operate efficiently when burdened with outdated software, the soul does not evolve by stacking new awareness on top of old survival-based programming. True evolution requires a full clearing. The system pauses. The noise quiets. The excess code is removed so that a higher, cleaner frequency can finally be installed without distortion. During this reset, many experience fog, emotional detachment, or a surprising indifference toward things that once consumed their attention. You may notice that tracking the masculine energy, analyzing behaviors, or anticipating external validation no longer feels urgent or even interesting. Solitude may arise naturally, not as loneliness, but as a neutral, almost peaceful space where nothing needs to be chased or proven. Social dynamics can shift unpredictably, with some connections falling away and others feeling temporarily distant. These are not losses, they are signs of calibration. Your nervous system, emotional body, and consciousness are being recalibrated to hold a new archetype. You are transitioning into the self-validated divine feminine, a state of being that no longer seeks confirmation of worth, love, or direction from outside sources. In this archetype, wholeness is internal, and presence replaces pursuit. Emotional sovereignty replaces longing. Stillness replaces urgency. This reset is essential because reunion frequency cannot be sustained by a self that is fragmented, reactive, or externally anchored. What is emerging now is a feminine consciousness capable of holding love without chasing it, recognizing truth without seeking reassurance, and remaining centered even in the presence of powerful magnetic forces. The sovereign reset is not dramatic on the surface, but it is profound in its impact. When the system finishes clearing, what remains is not less of you, but the truest version of you, stable, grounded, and fully aligned with the frequency of sacred union. If you have made it this far, pause for a moment and feel what is shifting within you. These words would not resonate unless something deep inside your soul was already responding to them. Take a breath and reflect on what has quietly fallen away in your life, what no longer pulls at your energy, and what version of yourself is beginning to emerge in the stillness. This is a sacred checkpoint, a moment of conscious witnessing. If you feel called, share your story in the comments so others walking this path know they are not alone. Or, if words feel unnecessary right now, Simply type, "I stand in my sovereign alignment," as an affirmation. By doing so, you anchor this reset into your field and signal to the universe that you are ready to embody the new frequency that is already finding you. Section 6. The December 4th to 6th Ignition Point. Between December 4th and 6th, a precise energetic ignition occurs, a splinter in time where the fabric of reality thins just enough for deep transformation to take hold. This window is fueled by the lingering fire of the Sagittarius new moon, amplified by the early pull of the approaching solstice. Together, these forces create a catalytic moment where momentum accelerates and what has been dormant is suddenly brought to the surface. This is not a gentle transition. It is a spark point, designed to initiate movement where stagnation once lived. During this period, old energetic contracts begin to rupture. Agreements made unconsciously, patterns inherited through survival, silence, or self-betrayal can no longer hold. You may experience emotional surges that feel disproportionate or unexpected, waves of buried grief rising without warning, flashes of anger that reveal long-suppressed truths, or moments of spontaneous honesty that surprise even you. These expressions are not random outbursts, they are pressure releases. What was once buried now demands acknowledgement so it can finally be cleared. As this ignition point unfolds, the external world may begin to mirror the internal shift. Environmental anomalies can appear, subtle but noticeable. Technology may glitch without clear cause. Time may feel distorted, either speeding up or slowing down in uncanny ways. You might notice unusual animal behavior, heightened awareness in nature, or repeated numbers and symbols appearing with startling frequency. These are not signs of imbalance or fear. They are indicators of expanded perception. Your awareness is stretching beyond its former limits, recalibrating to a wider field of information. It is important to understand this clearly. This is perception expanding, not paranoia. Your nervous system is adjusting to a heightened level of coherence between inner reality and outer experience. During this window, reality itself becomes a feedback loop. What you think carries more weight. What you speak moves faster into form. What you choose echoes forward with amplified consequence. Intention is no longer theoretical. It is immediately responsive. This ignition point asks for conscious participation, not control, but presence, not fear, but discernment. The universe is listening more closely now, responding more directly. December 4th to 6th marks a moment where alignment accelerates, truth sharpens, and the path ahead becomes increasingly shaped by the clarity of your choices. What you align with here does not fade quickly. It reverberates, setting the tone for what follows. Section 7. Non-reaction as the final test. The true battlefield this week does not exist in the outer world. It is not found in circumstances, conversations, or unfolding events. It lives entirely within your response. Your reaction is the final terrain where mastery is measured. What rises now is not meant to be fought, corrected, or explained. It is meant to be witnessed without surrendering your center. Distractions will surface wearing the mask of urgency. Situations may suddenly feel time-sensitive, emotionally charged, or impossible to ignore. Drama may attempt to pull you into old narratives. Arguments may arise without clear cause. People may unconsciously bait you back into familiar roles you have already outgrown, hoping you will defend, justify, rescue, or react in the ways you once did. This is not coincidence. It is calibration. Not everything that unfolds is yours to fix. Some chaos exists for a single purpose: to test whether you still leak energy into what no longer holds authority over you. Sovereignty is not proven through force or correction. It is revealed through restraint, through the quiet recognition that you do not owe your attention to every disturbance that calls your name. Your task is not to control the storm. It is to walk past it without being moved by its winds. Non-reaction is not avoidance or suppression. It is discernment in its most refined form. It is the ability to remain anchored in your truth while the external world rearranges itself around you. As you withdraw energy from the noise, something subtle but powerful occurs. Your inner guidance grows unmistakably clear. Intuition rises above mental chatter. The body relaxes into certainty. Decisions become simple rather than urgent. This is the moment when the final pieces unlock, not because you pushed harder, but because you stopped feeding what was never meant to come with you into the next phase. Stillness is not passive here, it is active mastery. And in that mastery, the path forward reveals itself without resistance. Section 8. Reunion is not chased, it is embodied. This is the truth the universe now insists you fully accept, without negotiation or delay. Reunion is not something you pursue, track, or wait for. It is not activated through effort, persuasion, or emotional labor. Reunion is not achieved by reaching outward. It is realized by becoming inwardly complete. It is not something you chase. It is something you embody. The divine masculine responds with uncompromising precision to your inner state. He does not mirror your words or intentions. He mirrors your frequency. Fear within you translates into distance between you. A sense of lack or incompletion registers as withdrawal or hesitation. But sovereign completion, the state of being whole within yourself, creates an undeniable magnetic pull. This is not manipulation. It is resonance. Energy moves toward what is stable, coherent, and self-contained. Your role has never been to manage his awakening, monitor his emotions, or orchestrate his timeline. That impulse belongs to the old paradigm of striving and proving. Your task now is far simpler and far more powerful. Anchor your light fully into your body, your choices, and your daily life, without requiring validation, reassurance, or response from him. When your worth no longer depends on his recognition, the field between you stabilizes. You are not waiting at the gate. You are the portal itself. You are the center of gravity around which the connection reorganizes. Your embodiment sends a clear signal into the field, one that collapses separation without force or effort. When you stand rooted in self-trust, self-respect, and self-presence, the universe no longer delays what is already aligned. Reunion responds to embodiment because embodiment leaves nothing unresolved. This is the moment where seeking ends and being begins. And in that shift, everything changes. This final month feels heavy because it is carrying momentum that has been building for lifetimes. It feels chaotic because reality itself is being rearranged at the deepest level, clearing space for what can no longer be delayed. What once felt like separation, abandonment, or punishment is now revealed as something else entirely. It was preparation. It was refinement. It was the forging of sovereignty where dependence once lived. Waiting is no longer required because waiting has completed its purpose. Every conscious choice you make now matters. Every moment you choose self-respect over self-abandonment, silence over explanation, truth over comfort, and sovereignty over longing, you actively anchor the reunion timeline into form. This is why the energy feels urgent yet calm at the same time. The work is no longer about hoping or watching for signs. It is about embodiment. Stop waiting for an external signal. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for proof. The proof arrives after you choose yourself, not before. When you claim your worth, something irreversible happens. The old separation contract dissolves. The dynamic shifts. The universe responds not to desire, but to certainty. Physical reunion is not a reward handed out for endurance. It is a natural consequence of alignment. When you stand fully in your value, the connection reorganizes itself around that truth. Trust this final month. Even when it feels intense, even when emotions rise, even when old patterns try one last time to pull you backward. This time is not working against you. It is working for you. It is working for union, clarity, and completion. Nothing here is random. Everything is converging. If this message touched something deep within you, leave a comment and write the word climb to affirm your readiness and let the universe witness your decision. If this video supported you, remember to like and share it with someone who may be standing at the same threshold. And when you are ready, continue this journey by watching the next video below, where we go even deeper into what unfolds after the waiting ends. Thank you, Divine Feminine, for walking this path with courage and integrity. Stay sovereign, stay focused, and trust the beautiful, inevitable reunion that is now aligning because you chose yourself.